Adams was arrested 3 times. The first time was on January 9th when Adams was found in a car that had been used in one of the robberies and where a gun was also found. Online court records show no charges were ever filed against Adams in that case. He was ordered released each time without having to pay bail. So am I allowed to be upset about that? Does that do away with my lefty cred? And if it does, great. Take my lefty cred away.
2 years ago, lefties were going non-lefties. I wonder how they're doing now.
Residents in an exclusive Beverly Crest neighborhood say squatters have taken over a multi-million-dollar home, turning the mansion into a party house. The neighborhood is home to several high-profile celebrities, including LeBron James, who is building a home just 2 doors away.
The suspected squatters say they have a legal right to be there, but neighbors say they are fed up.
Micah share that mansion is located on a hilltop not far from here. Neighbors say the parties often start at 2 a.m. and go 8-9 hours. How would you like to rent a multi-million-dollar mansion overlooking Beverly Hills with neighbors like NBA superstar LeBron James and singer-songwriter John Legend? The best part of the deal? You can have it for $35,000 for an entire year.
Or you can just enter the house anyway and squat it. I mean, they're usually never there. They have a bunch of home, so hey, just pick and choose.
But I am impressed with the speed in which DeSantis did something about this. We're seeing stories out of New York and California where lawmakers are just sitting on their asses and doing nothing about it. And I think it's wrong. I think that they shouldn't just sit around and do nothing as these stories continue to flood the press.
I know what I want and I want it now. Right winger.
But I also want to note, we don't know how widespread squatting really is. Judd Legum in his Substack Popular Info addressed how there is really no organization keeping track of how widespread squatting is. And so I don't want to treat this as if it's a widespread issue because we don't know how widespread it is. But nonetheless, for the few who might be victimized by this, there should be legal protections so they're not victimized by this. And I'm glad to see that Florida did something right in response to this issue.
Why would the government do that? If you give people free home, you get free votes.
We are in the state of Florida ending the squatter scam once and for all.
Over the years, we've seen how squatters can take over a property, trash it, at times using utilities billed back to the rightful owner, degrading the entire area nearby.
And someone moves into it and turns it into a drug den, trap house, or brothel.
Now, with the governor's signature on a new bill, the law will have a quicker way to respond.
You are not going to be able to commandeer somebody's private property and expect to get away with it.
And I think that is very beautiful because, hey, I believe maybe in Florida it takes 30 days that you need to be in the house like a ninja and you can stay there. In Spain, it's freaking 2 days.
What? Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no sweater.
This is Shakira after watching the Barbie movie.
I gotta say, I agree with Shakira about the Barbie movie. When she was asked about it in an interview, she said that her sons absolutely hated it because they thought it was emasculating. And like, isn't it? Here's this movie that is so female forward that when the fellas co-starring in the film got an Oscar nod, the entirety of Hollywood freaked out and said it should have gone to the female lead. Could you imagine that ever happening if it were reversed? No, because it would never happen. Shakira said that raising 2 boys, she wants them to feel powerful, and who could blame her? Trying to raise sons in this environment of female fascism is not easy. Everywhere they look, boys are told that they need to take a step back, let women lead, recognize their privilege, and squash any natural masculine tendencies because somehow who they are is just toxic. We've got to stop telling our sons that being male is problematic, that being strong and ambitious is some kind of fault, that being a leader, taking charge, being innovative, wanting to protect and provide are in some way offensive. How many boys look out in an entertainment landscape and see little to no representation of themselves on screens big or small? Do we want a society where men are simply too afraid and meek to stand up and be who they are? Moms with boys know what's up. We see our boys struggling in this damaging landscape, falling behind in school, getting messages that they're not good enough and women don't need them, and it's just not true.
In all honesty, I believe the Barbie movie should have been called the Ken movie because it actually represents exactly how men are feeling right now. They have no purpose, but every progress they make is a microaggression. They're playing Minesweeper.
Oh no, I'm so bad at Minesweeper. Right.
Did I just hear someone use a microaggression?
And then people complain, where are the strong men?
Were you raised by your father, mother?
No, just my mother.
Oh, where's your father?
I don't know. I don't want to meet him.
Why not?
Well, because my mother says I don't want to, and I there's no reason to.
Because your mother said it? Why you believe your mother? Your mother's jealous of your father. She won't let you see him.
I don't think that's what it is. My mother is also against toxic masculinity, and she is also against the patriarchy. And my father was a very toxic male.
How you know that?
Because I see videos and photos of from when I was a baby, and one of the videos is him with a bunch of other men in the backyard, all drunk, drinking beers.
What's wrong with that?
Well, they're just acting like idiots. I can just tell through the video his personality is just not somebody I'd want to meet.
Are you just like your mother?
Yes, I am.
Oh, no.
If you could eliminate one thing from the world, what would it be? Let me know in the comment section.
Who has the best girlfriend ever?
I do.
Who just bought you all this stuff?
She did.
And all the stuff?
My girl bought all of it, and I'm about to eat this, and then we're gonna chow on that after. So, happy Easter.
Yeah. But we're not eating it all. Just know that. Because we gotta save some.
Yeah.
You know? Budget cuts, you know?
Happy Easter.
Save. You know? So we're gonna scoff this stuff down. Because Boo deserved it. You know? Even though we get in our arguments sometimes, I still love you, okay?
I love you too.
Yeah.
I love you too, baby.
Yeah, you better. So I just spent some money on you. Yeah.
You're a victim. I'm generally concerned for this guy because three things. Either he is disabled, or he is very afraid, or he never had a father in his life. Which is sad.
You guys heard of the 4B movement in South Korea? The women of South Korea's 4B movement aren't fighting the patriarchy. They're leaving it behind entirely. There's been a small but growing women's movement in South Korea in response to widespread cases of femicide, revenge, and dating violence, and a surge in spy cam crimes overwhelmingly committed by... You already knew.
Because I am a Korean woman currently living in Korea, and I have so much to say about this topic. So most of the 4B movement videos that I've seen on TikTok are made from foreigners, and I think Korean Americans or just Asian people living in the West, but not actually people living in Korea. What I think is happening is the Western media likes to really pick up on these sensationalist, provocative topics and then makes it into an article, and then everyone on TikTok follows suit and makes videos about it. But let me tell you, I am 29, going to turn 30 this year, and literally all the conversations that I have with my friends around my age is about, oh my god, we're looking to get married, we need to find good partners, and we need to do this before it gets too late or we're just like aged out of their marriage market, you know? And I just made a YouTube video about this, Korea's population crisis, why nobody's getting married or having babies. But I also explained there are services in Korea like marriage matchmaking services where people go and you pay a broker and you submit all this information about yourself, your income, your assets, your family background, if you have any debt, like which university you went to, you submit all that information, and then they take that and then they will try to match you up with people who they think that you're on par with. So you know how you see in K-dramas how like the poor girl ends up marrying the richest CEO of Korea? Yeah, in reality that never happens.
So ladies and gentlemen, you're seeing a passport girl without the need of a passport because she's just dating in her own country.
So people go to these marriage services and they're heavily used. There are literally so many in the country because everyone is using them. And so the 4B movement in Korea is a very, very small fraction of the whole Korean population in general. It's just the Western media likes to highlight that part and make it seem like it's the biggest issue in Korea, which it really is not. I can promise you that. Don't believe all those sensational articles written online all the time.
Feminist empowerment movement debunked because the ladies are just educated and now the government is helping them to make their families.
But wait, there's more.
With the help of the government, the birth rate might go up. But hey, feminist movement, you can always blame they're getting raped.
Put him first. When you're tired, put him first. When you got so much going on and it's so busy and there's so much...
guys, I just finished my date, and I am so embarrassed. I'm not gonna cry. Yeah, I'm not gonna cry. Dress on, and I changed because I had this dress on and everything, and I had my hair out. Like, you know, guys, I cut it, but it wasn't like this. I had it parted a little bit, and so I went in, and he was like looking around, like, oh, like he was looking for somebody else, and I was like, okay, I'm like, hey, I'm Tia, and then he was like, Tia. I'm like, yeah, it's for me, from BLK, and then he was like looking confused, and he told me to sit down, so I sat down. I smiled, and he didn't smile back at me. And then he was like, I don't look like my pictures. I do look like my pictures. I don't Photoshop anything. I tell everything how it is, you know, just being so quiet through the meal and all that. He didn't even want to pay. I said, hey, I didn't bring my money with me. And then he eventually...
I'm not laughing at her image. I'm not judging her image. I'm just judging the delusion. I'm like, I don't know. How do I process this in an honest way? When I see delusion at such a way, I'm like, you can't tell me. How can you say you look exactly like you look in the picture?
He sent me a request to pay for the food. And that's not... I just don't understand. Why are men like this? Men are evil.
Don't get me wrong, ma cosa ti tapong. Butta fire na mi blonde, kush hash purple skunk, criollo colombici jam jam, turloqueta verdetta welcome.